This conference will now be recorded.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing, please. Mr. Caldwell, would you lead us in prayer, please?
And most gracious Heavenly Father God, as always, we're thankful that everybody is here safe and sound. We thank you for getting us through the day. Thank you, dear Lord, for helping us cope with this heat and help those who have problems in coping with this heat. We pray always, dear Lord, for this a wonderful meeting where all your will be done. And we will be remiss this evening if we not mention Mayor Will Baker and his family, dear Lord, as we lift them up to you in prayer and support over the loss of his father. We pray, Father, dear Lord, that you will just wrap them in your arms, let them feel your loving presence, to give them strength, courage, comfort, and peace. In Jesus' holy and precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for those who passed away. John Weaver, Leela King, which is Mike King, former commissioner's wife, James Howard, Howard Thaxton, who is Mayor Baker's father-in-law, and Jerry Pinto. Thank you. Please be seated. I want to remind everybody if they'll just keep their ringtones cut, mute their ringtones on their cell phones, please. And if any commissioner has a conflict of interest with anything that's on the agenda tonight, please speak up. Thank you. Number 6 on the agenda is adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Number 7 is public comment. I think we have one person signed up. That would be Varney Johnson.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I just want to say thank you for letting us have this forum to speak. I recently moved here from Wilmington, North Carolina. I moved to a tiny home at Osprey Landing on the corner of Highway 58 and VFW. I'm quite concerned about the traffic and the speeding and some of the things that I have seen from the front of my home. So I took some pictures of them. There have been 2 major car wrecks on that corner within the last 3 weeks that I have seen. There is no way to access that road. The emergency vehicles, there's no light there. There's no caution emergency vehicles coming. Those fire trucks and ambulances cannot get on Highway 58 off of VFW Road. I've watched them struggle. We need a light there, something caution, something along the lines of this. Those signs would tell those vehicles are coming through that intersection. Again, they're doing 50, 60 miles an hour. I'm sure y'all know that. Again, I'm not from here. I'm kind of new to the area, but I have been through here before. I moved to Wilmington in 2005. I worked at TSA at the Wilmington Airport, so I know a little bit about security. Retired Air Force in 1998.
Go Air Force.
Thank you. I won't bore you. I know I have 3 minutes. I don't want to bore everybody, but we all know about the traffic and the concerns in this area. And I thank all of you for doing what you do. I understand you're very limited, your resources. You've got thousands and thousands of tourists and cars and a handful of police to handle it. I would suggest some things if anybody wants to talk to me after the meeting. You're more than that welcome to do that. Some of the places I've lived in 10 different states. They've tried different things. One size does not fit all. They have done police vehicles with no one in it. They just park it. You can move it, but you don't need an officer in that vehicle. You just park it, and it will. People will see it. It deters them. They're running this red light right here on Highway 24 and Anita Fort Road. I walked there, I ride my bike, and I took pictures of that also. They're running that red light with gas tankers, cement trucks, huge, huge vehicles. I came close to getting hit last week. It was very upsetting, trying to make that crosswalk. They are speeding down Taylor Notion Road. Again, these are gas tankers, cement trucks that are speeding down those roads. You might stand a chance with a car or a truck, but so I just wanted to bring attention to that. Again, I'm sure it's something that you don't already know, but thank you so much for your time.
Can I make a comment? When you give this presentation in your hometown of Cedar Point, ask them to fund a police department.
Yes.
Okay, that's all for public comments. So next up will be the quarterly report from Chief Silva for the Police Department.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Set up there, boss. Thank you. All right, so we're going to do the second quarter police report. Pretty busy the last couple of months. Here to the significant accomplishments. Police staffing, we're at 100% for full-time staff. Part-time officer will be transferred for part-time to full-time. Part-time supplement, same transfer to full-time status. We hired Ryan Moneymaker. He is an officer. He's in field training, and he will be our part-time weekend officer. So you'll see him riding around with an officer in the next few months. All officers completed their annual physical qualifications in the second quarter. We conducted high visibility patrol operations and traffic enforcement on Memorial Day. And Officer Wilkie has completed radar school, and we're waiting for his certificate to come back. That'll be another officer that we have on the road for traffic. Total calls for service in the second quarter, really busy, 1,650. We have 3,471 directed patrols. That's business checks, residential checks, park checks, and directed traffic enforcement operations. Traffic stops, the officers stopped 962 vehicles in the second quarter. They wrote 323 traffic citations and issued 639 traffic warnings, investigated 36 motor vehicle collisions, and arrested 24 suspects. Mutual aid, we responded 21 times outside the city, either 0.7, fellow tier 1, 12 overall in the county, and 1 response to Emerald Isle. We did receive mutual aid from Emerald Isle and the Sheriff's Department 8 times, and we assisted fire and EMS responding to priority calls 49 times. Any questions from the board?
Busy quarter.
Very busy. All right.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Next up is Planning Board report.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Want to just provide a little report from the June 17th Planning Board meeting. There were 3 major topics that were discussed. First being the administrative site plan review Suncoast project on 296 Taylor Notion Road. The Planning Board reviewed the updated site plan for a 1-acre parcel at 296 Taylor Notion Road, proposing an 1,800 square foot office building with parking, loading zone, and on-site septic via engineered option permit. Stormwater controls were included, and all 2018 NC Fire Code requirements have been met. The site plan is generally consistent with the town's UDO, with only minor revisions needed. The board unanimously recommended conditional approval pending receipt of all required permits and review corrections. The second was the rezoning request, McLean Holdings LP, 110 Manatee Street. The request was made to rezone the 0.309 acre property vacant lot from R13 to B20 to allow for future office use. During the discussion, it's an undersized lot. The group has agreed to join an adjacent property meeting the requirement for this. The planning board found the request consistent with the town's comprehensive plan and CAMA land use plan and recommended conditional approval. The statement of consistency and reasonableness was unanimously adopted, noting the rezoning aligns with nearby B20 zoning and will not negatively impact surrounding properties. We prepared that, and I'd like to just read as it states for the Board of Commissioners here tonight. It would read like this. At their meeting on July 14th, 2025, the Board of Commissioners voted to approve the zoning map amendment and made the following statements. The Commissioners find and determined that the request is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Town of Cape Carteret Comprehensive and CAMA Land Use Plan because the vicinity of adjacent B20 lots in the same ownership and are vacant. It is reasonable and in public best interest because adjacent lots are vacant and in the same ownership and does not affect properties negatively. The last one that we discussed was the ordinance amending Unified Development Ordinance, home child daycares. Mr. Foxworth presented a proposed UDO text amendment to update the definitions of daycare center and daycare home, and to allow daycares as an accessory use to churches in districts where churches are permitted. The planning board unanimously recommended approval, finding the amendment consistent with the town's comprehensive plan and CAMA land use plan and reasonable in the public's interest. That statement reads that we prepared. In their meeting on July 14th, 2025, the Board of Commissioners voted to approve the text amendment and made the following statements. The Commissioners find and determined that the request is consistent with the goals and objectives and policies of the Town of Cape Carteret Comprehensive and CAMA Land Use Plan because the zoning text amendment simplifies the UDO and provides clarity. It is reasonable and in the public's best interest because the zoning text amendment simplifies the UDO. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Next up is consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? You. Item number 11, ordinance amending UDO regarding updating child daycare definitions and table of permitted uses. We'll need to go into public hearing, but we'll hear from Mr. Foxworth first to give us a briefing on that.
Yes, sir. Mr. Denby did an excellent job on that. So we considered the child care definition section and table of permitted uses at the last meeting. As he stated, the Planning Commission unanimously recommended this UDO amendment. I'm going to run through it real quick with you. So it just redefined a daycare center, which the daycare center would be more of the traditional center that we're all used to. That traditional center would be a commercial activity. And then also redefined daycare home, which is what you typically see 8 or less children in a residential district. So the ordinance amendment will allow for daycare center in the B10, B20, and B30 district, and daycare home in the R10, R10M, R13, R20, and R30 district. One of the very pertinent parts of this amendment is daycare. Daycare is an accessory use to a church. So daycares, as you know, we have many churches that have daycares in them here in town. And it does allow that as an accessory to a church. Be glad to answer any questions you have about that.
Okay, before we have any discussion, I think I need a motion to enter public hearing.
So be
A
it.
second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're now in public hearing. Did we have anybody? Okay. Motion to come out of public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second it.
All in favor? Okay, we're out of public hearing. Any discussion before I ask for a motion?
I just want to thank the planning board for trying to get our UDO into compliance I know we got a lot of work to do, Mike. I'm looking forward to you and your team taking care of the work. Thank you.
I had a quick question. Does this, what was driving this?
So this started before I got here.
Okay.
And I think it was really a cleanup,
Okay.
and to distinguish a daycare home, as you traditionally see where the occupants of that home run a small daycare versus a commercial daycare center. I think it was a cleanup.
Okay.
We were trying to get in compliance with the state too, right?
Sure, that's right.
That's sort of-
And a lot of the onus on the regulations is on the state. You know, the licensing requirements are pretty heavy duty, and it leads to that.
So what you're saying is even if you had a home daycare, you would still have to go through state certifications and things like that?
Absolutely. This would just pertain to your zoning. Yes.
Yeah. I think this makes sense. I think we're short on daycare as a parent of, well, recently young kids in daycare. I think we're short on daycares, so I think this is a good idea. I support this.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt this amendment?
I'll make the motion to adopt this amendment.
Second. All in favor? Thank you. Just statement of consistency. Yes, if you don't mind, Gene, read that.
I'll restate the statement of plan consistency and reasonableness that Mr. Denmead just read. So it would state, if you choose, commissioners find and determine this request is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Town of Cape Carteret Comprehensive and Camera Land Use Plan because the zoning text amendment simplifies the Unified Development Ordinance and provides clarity. It's reasonable and in the public interest because the zoning text amendment simplifies the Unified Development Ordinance.
Thank you, Gene. Next up is,
So do we make a motion to adopt that?
oh, adopt the statement, yeah.
Voted by the planning commission.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion to adopt the statement?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor? All right, thank you. Next up is the site plan approval. Mr. Foxworth.
Yes, sir. So, as Mr. Denmead stated as well, at the planning commission meeting, they considered approval of a site plan located of an office building located at 296 Taylor Motion Road. So this is the vacant lot out in front of the gym, if you're familiar with it. The planning board thoroughly reviewed it. I've reviewed it. It meets all of the criteria for this. There were a couple of things that were outstanding, and it was really the biggest part of that was them getting permits in hand that they had applied for. And the planning commission recommended approval of that site plan. As well, I think Mr. Jonathan McDaniel is here tonight. If y'all had any questions, the engineer on that site.
I'm not seeing any action to be taken in my packet. Is there action to be taken on this tonight?
Yes, sir.
Motion
Just be
to-
approval. Motion to approve the
Okay.
site plan. Yes, sir.
Did you see anything in your packet?
No, it was kind
It's
of
just
blank.
blank,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Any discussion on this for Gene?
We've had our talk.
You had your talk,
I'm good.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, is there a motion to
I'll
approve?
make the motion.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor? Thank you.
Do we do another statement of consistency with this?
This does not require one.
No.
sir.
Good.
Next up is discussion of Citizen of Year Award. I'd like to call Ms. Wanda Fowler to the podium, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Martin, for inviting me to speak to this. I'm assuming it refers to an email that I sent to the board last month. And the email was twofold, so I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you tonight because it goes on record. I come to you in deep gratitude and appreciation for the wonderful and beautiful reflection area named in honor of Mayor Fowler. I drive by it 4 times a day. The flowers are beautiful. The fountain is very, very nice. I visit it. I encourage folks to visit it if you have an opportunity. I sit there and listen to the water, and it even drowns out the traffic on 58 in Taylor Notion if you allow yourself to do that. On my way back home, I turn left as I go down Pine Lake and I see Buddy Dew's Memorial Garden. And I began to reflect on that and I thought, these are two folks who gave freely of their time and their energies to our town, and we thank them posthumously. Just like Debbie Stanley, this room is named for her. So I began to think, why do we not do an annual award where we express our gratitude as a town board to folks who give of their time freely, their energy, with no expectations from it other than to do good for their town? Why do we not, as a town, establish an annual volunteer appreciation award of some kind? So I'm asking you tonight to consider that. I appreciate the fact that you put this discussion on the agenda. I would submit that in order to make it fair and equitable, that you would want a criteria established. You would want a committee take applications and vet those, and then you as a board and the committee make a decision. I would love to see it named in honor of Mayor Fowler. That's up to you. If you do decide to do that, I'm glad to bear the cost of whether it's a certificate or a plaque or whatever. That would be my honor to do that. Dave would be honored with what you all have done. Even though, unbeknownst to many of you, he had a shy side, this would make him very humble. So having said that, it's an idea, it's up for discussion, and I appreciate the opportunity to bring it to your attention.
Thank you, Wanda. Okay, is there any discussion about what Ms. Fowler? Go ahead, John.
I've been involved in this town for a few years. I am for awarding a Volunteer of the Year award. I would like to see Wanda and you, Steve, be the founding members of the committee, and you pick your own committee and determine who the first Volunteer of the Year would be. Maybe we do some sort of poll online, get names of people that feel for the first nominee, and I'd like to see it go forward because there are a lot of people that do a lot of things for this town.
Absolutely.
And, you know, they die and you're never remembered. I'm very, very blessed that I was able to do my father's stage back there for my dad. I'm very blessed to be able to have a flag from the flag program flying for my dad, which, by the way, Heather, I owe you money. All kidding aside, I feel it's very important for the spirit of this town as we continue to grow to reward people that do work. My own personal opinion.
Okay. Anyone else?
I agree. For everything that John said, I think other towns do it. I think recognizing people that do work in our community. I mean, you know, a lot of people give their time. You know, a lot of sweat equity goes into a lot of the things that we do and we're trying to accomplish. And I think rewarding or recognizing people for doing that is definitely a good idea. So I'm all in favor.
Okay.
However, it needs to be structured. I'm open to however it needs to be.
Understand.
And not only for the town, these people mentor our kids too. Like
Yeah.
my children, Dave is a big impact on the life they've chosen to live and the politics they've chosen to get in. Dave made a big impact on Hamilton, so that's why he's into politics. So, you know, you just never know when they're young how somebody, you know, all of us up here might impact someone that's young, decide they want to do what they're doing or come to you for advice. They, you know, like the direction you took your life in.
Yeah, as I
I'm
look,
for this.
I look around, I see 4 commissioners here that was influenced to run and supported by Dave. So, anybody else?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
We just need to make sure that we have a solid set of criteria so it's not so that it does not become a popularity contest. Rather than that, not to.
Well, if it's okay with the board, the consensus of the board, then I'll reach out to Ms. Fowler and we'll appoint a committee and then get started on that and report back to the board after we have something to report. Okay? I don't think we need a vote on that, do you, Brett? Okay. Next is resolution requesting the North Carolina General Assembly direct the Fisheries Director of the North Carolina Marine Fisheries Commissioner to open both a recreational flounder and a red snapper season. Before I ask Mr. Foxworth to read the resolution, just want to give a brief history on this House Bill 442 that recently went through the legislature in Raleigh. The original House Bill 442 included a flounder season, which anybody that's recreational fisherman understands that we have not been able to harvest a flounder for 5 or 6 years now, just a few days here and there. From my understanding, the original bill was heavily supported by the House of Representatives until it was hijacked, and I'll say hijacked, by another legislator that included banning shrimp trawlers from the internal waters, which is in my mind, it's a totally different argument that needs to be separated. So I asked Mayor Baker to call Gene and come up with a resolution. So, but during that time, I did reach out to Celeste and I told her what we were thinking about, and she said she was trying to get the original bill back before them, and if she was able to, that she would support it. It's not fair to the recreational fishermen that this bill was hijacked by that legislator. So that's what this resolution is all about, to send a strong message for our support for our recreational fishermen. It's not pitting the recreational against commercial fishermen, it's totally separate. And to allow them or ask them to separate the two issues in Raleigh, like they should have done to start with. I read something real interesting today that the average recreational fisherman spends $152 per pound of every fish he catches, whether it be boats, equipment, bait, hotels, rental houses, whatnot, $152 a pound. I've always said you could buy it cheaper, but nothing like catching your own fresh fish, and it's just a right. That's a public resource. It's owned by every citizen in North Carolina, from the Outer Banks to Murphy. Everybody owns that resource. So with that said, I'll ask Mr. Foxworth to read the resolution.
Be glad to. Whereas House Bill 442 proposed both a recreational flounder season and a red snapper season for 2025, the flounder season being at least 6 weeks long and the red snapper season being year-round, and whereas the citizens of North Carolina should have access to both species, as they're obviously plentiful enough to support harvest, which is evident by the sheer number that are caught and released, and whereas it's difficult to currently not catch an abundance of flounder because of their numbers when pursuing inshore game fish, and likewise red snapper when bottom fishing for reef complex fish, and whereas we believe House Bill 442 would have been successful in opening both of these seasons if the divisive subject of inshore shrimp trawling had not been added to this bill, and whereas we do not believe the North Carolina Marine Fisheries is effectively managing either of these two species, and other species for that matter, then the legislature should intervene in providing the public with the ability to legally harvest both flounder and red snapper, and now therefore be resolved by the Board of Commissioners that we request and support the North Carolina General Assembly in opening a 6-week or greater flounder season for flounder and a year-round red snapper season. Furthermore, we request that this be done post-haste as we are entering into the prime season to harvest both species.
Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you so much. I would encourage Mr. Waller to see if she can get the county to join us in this resolution. As I stated, it's not pitting the recreational versus commercial. It's simply allowing us to harvest fish that is a public resource for every citizen in North Carolina. Thank you. Next up, update on the Bayshore Boat Ramp acquisition. Mr. Foxworth.
Yes, sir. I'll just give you a quick update on this. As you know, the commissioners directed the town attorney and I to move this forward. We, of course, have a contract on this piece of property at the end of Bayshore. We should have a financing agreement in the next week or so from First Bank. That was the best of the three after we went out and solicited proposals from banks. That's a 10-year agreement, 10-year term. It's level principal, which means that the principal will be the same every year. The interest will go down over the course of the years. First payment being July 1 of next year, not this year's, no payment this year. We will have one more meeting on this, but it does look like we are set up to be able to still close in August.
Any questions for Jay? Yes, sir. Any questions for the attorney on that? Okay. So we're still setting our sights to close in August?
Yes, sir.
Which is good. So that's great. Okay. Next is the memorandum of understanding with the Carteret County for debris management contract. And once again, Gene.
Yes, sir. So pre-position debris removal and monitoring is super important. Y'all know anytime we have a natural disaster, the requirements with FEMA is that we go through a procurement process to make sure that we're getting the best value for that service. We've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. You know, last year, I think the town was under the state contract. The last I checked, which was about 3 weeks ago, there's still not a state contract for that. The county has a pre-position contract in place that allows for the towns within the county to join that contract. And that's the agreement that you see before you here tonight. The town attorney has reviewed it. I've reviewed it. I think it's on the agenda for the county commissioners on the 21st, next Monday night. So I would recommend that you adopt this MOU to make sure that we're in a good position in case of a natural disaster.
Yeah, for those of you that hadn't served on this board during a hurricane, this is very, very important. I don't know how it could possibly be stressed anymore. Any discussion, any questions?
So what happens if the state gets a contract? Does the county accept the state contract?
No, sir. So the county is not under the state contract.
Okay.
The county has I can speak for the last 10 or 11 years, the county has its own pre-position disaster management contract. After Florence, if you remember, Carteret County was cleaned up quicker than the surrounding counties, and that was solely because of that contract that was in place.
Did you write that contract when you were there?
I assisted with it, yes, sir.
I make a motion that we accept.
A second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you. Next up is discussion of the Veterans Day Parade donation. I would like to start by, first of all, verifying, is our county Veterans Day Parade the oldest one in the state? Is that correct?
I think it is, yes, sir.
Anybody know that for sure? The largest? Okay. Well, if you remember last month, Pete Benton, who was placed in charge of the Veterans Day Parade, approached us and asked us for donations. He's got a sizable budget to meet. I did get a call from him that Emerald Isle had donated $2,500. I'm hoping the county will step up. Their purse strings or their pockets a lot deeper than ours, but I would like to see us match Emerald Isles with $2,500. I think it's very important for our veterans. There's so many veterans living in our town, and this is a good way to salute our veterans. That's just my 2 cents worth. Anybody got anything else to say about it?
Do we know what their target is to be able to get the silent drill platoon and the color guard?
I've got it on my phone. I'm thinking it's around 48,000.
Their budget. Can we afford it, Gene?
Yes, sir. So if you want to, you have enough in fund balance to afford that. Yes, sir.
Seeing how my father was honored parade for many years. I'd like to see us match up real loud. Gotta take it from the Christmas decorations. Let's take it from the Christmas decorations.
I think we have
Okay.
quite a bit of
Santa
money left
Claus.
over from the reflection area that we could use for that.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, it's, having participated in the parade numerous times, I actually marched in it with a few kid groups, and, you know, we handed out candy and we walked up to veterans and said, thank you for our service. And for the people in the parade, I think it's powerful so that they especially kids, to understand what we do and why we do it and the sacrifice that they made. So I think it's good. It's a huge turnout. It's probably one of the best parades I've actually been a part of. So I think it's a good idea. I agree with the 2,500. So I'm all in favor.
Yeah, I would like to also see Gene and maybe the town staff put together some, and not saying a float maybe. I mean, I think Courtney's got some experience with floats, right?
Yeah, like
Sky with
camera.
a trailer.
Or Cameron, somebody. I mean, if that's a doable thing, if nothing but a pickup truck or something. But anyway, I'm assuming we're gonna need a motion since we're gonna tap the funds, don't we, Brett? Okay, is there a motion to donate $2,500 to the Carter County Veterans Day Parade? Second. All in favor? Thank you. I will call Mr. Benton after the meeting and let him know, and he'll get with Eugene.
So get him taken care of.
Okay, next up is the town manager report.
Yes, sir. I'll be brief. Channelview Drive, I know that's a project we've worked on for a while. Mr. McDaniel has completed the surveying on that. He is waiting on drafting and should in the next 2 weeks have us a proposed alignment for that. So we moved that forward at that time. The last month you approved the moving forward with the design on the Highway 24 portion of the multi-use path. Currently negotiating with RK&K on that and hope to have that kicked off and running smoothly here shortly. You have noticed the Taylor Notion multi-use path has asphalt on it. It looks fantastic. Been out there with the contractor a couple of times, just on some punch list items and kind of getting that cleaned up. So hopefully we'll be in a position to accept that shortly. I did a walkthrough last week with NCDOT. They looked at it. It was minor stuff, the same stuff that I'd noted with the contractor already. The next vegetative debris collection is August 4th. Just for the citizens, if Friday, July 25th through Sunday, August 3rd, if you'll start putting your stuff on the curb, it'd be great. We'll knock that out. Got a note last about 2 weeks ago that the Taylor Notion Road, we had pushed on DOT a little bit on the Taylor Notion Road and 58 intersection. It looks like that roundabout does have funding, and it looks like we'll start seeing construction in about 18 months on that. So that's a very, very positive note there. Lastly, Commissioner Martin, or not lastly, second to lastly, Commissioner Martin and I have gotten hold of a picture here on Pettiford Creek with all the kayakers. I wanted to share that. I was part of the newsletter this last month, but it's good to see folks using the kayak trail, a kayak launch there on Pettiford Creek. So. Wanted to introduce Kesley Mitchell. Kesley is sitting in the back right there. Kesley is our new admin assistant, probably the most important person at the town. I always say that, 100% of the people that come in the door get to meet Kesley. So we're glad to have her on board. She's been on board with us a couple of weeks and doing a fantastic job for us. So.
Welcome.
Other than that, the next monthly meeting will be August 11th. Planning Commission, as was mentioned earlier, meets tomorrow night on July 15th, and that concludes my report.
Okay.
So the gentleman that spoke, public comment, was there anything with the NCDOT or anything we're doing with the carbon reduction grant that would answer any of his questions?
So I don't think so with the carbon reduction grant. So it's more for bike and pedestrian facilities,
Okay.
like we're using it here.
So we're working on any of those intersections that he mentioned?
So I gave him Mary Beth Houston's information.
Okay.
She's a division engineer and looks at safety issues like that.
Okay.
And I'll mention it to her as well.
Okay.
It's not to her. Tell him to come here.
Oh, good. we go.
Next up is commissioner reports. We'll start with Commissioner Morgan over there. Mr. Ritchie.
I'd like to thank all of you for coming out. Fire Chief, good seeing you again. Thank you, Ryan, for the great job you do. Paxton, as always, it's great to see you. Wanda, thank you for all your input for Citizen of the Year Award. I think it's very, very important. I want to thank Chief and his staff for the hectic second quarter, and I'm sure the third quarter isn't going to be any easier, but I'm glad you're back up to full force. Personally speaking, love this town, want to keep moving forward, and I hope all those that are planning to run for the office understand what the goals that we have here as the town are, and adopt them. Thank you.
Well, I echo everything John Ritchie just said, Commissioner Ritchie. But I think the planning board, you guys are doing a great job making our jobs easier. Appreciate you guys. And Commissioner Marianne, thank you for coming out. Appreciate you. And all the things you do behind the scenes that nobody sees, all the meetings you go to. I can always call you and you know what's going on. And Wanda, I wish you were here more. Well, I love seeing you here at the meeting. So Wanda and I go back to elementary school. My kid's in school, so when Hamilton would get in trouble, which is my son, Wanda could figure him out. So, and thanks, Commissioner Martin. You did a great job tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Barney Johnson. Did I get your name correctly? Yeah, I think that's kind of weird that they sent you back to us. You know, we've petitioned, I don't know if petition is the right word, but the state DOT, I think they control those intersections, and we've certainly had some issues. I use Fox and 24 all the time, and it can get gnarly. So I understand what you're saying. We've reached out to them numerous times throughout my duration on this board to try to assess the traffic and understand what's going on. It's congested. So I think we all understand what you're saying. However, I just don't think that we are the responsible party for this. I think it's the DOT, NCDOT, that should be handling this. So I think it's odd that they sent you back to us, but
They said to voice not just that concern, other concerns such as Highway 24 in front of this building, 60 miles an hour. It's not just Highway 58.
well, yeah, that's so.
Like in this area, I moved here for that reason. We're going 60 miles an hour down Taylor Ocean Road. And it started as I see the gas tanker run that red light right here in front of the police station, right in front of me.
Yeah.
Something serious.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we've definitely worked with our police department to get, you know, the enforcement, to be key. So we're definitely, working on that and doing that. It's difficult because there is a lot of traffic and everything. So anyway, I just say it to say thank you for coming out and voicing your concern with us. I appreciate that. To this board, I do appreciate the resolution on the flounder and red snapper. I think it's shameful politics to what happened to the original bill, but kudos to the people that stopped it and kept it from actually going through. So anyway, that's enough about that. That's all I have, Steve. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to thank Gene and the entire staff of town, police department, public works, and admin department. I think we're getting close to being fully staffed once again, and Gene's making a lot of headway, doing a great job for us. And I don't think this board never gets many thanks, but I want to thank this board. I've said it time and time again. I think this is probably the best board this town has ever had. I really do. And there's so much that's gotten done. When Frank was here, John said we want to keep the momentum and keep focused on what we can do to enhance life here in our little town. And there's been so much been done, and it's kind of going to be sad when November gets here, but that's just part of it. But I want to thank the board. I really do. And Wanda, thank you so much for coming out. And Commissioner Walter, we still need some money. as usual. So anything you do to help us on the county level, we certainly appreciate that. And that's all I've got. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. How about a second? All in favor? Thanks for coming out, guys.